The Crash Insane Trilogy completely changed the remake industry as we know it. How? Let's talk about it!
No!
What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with another video essay about our orange marsupial. So it's been a few years since the orange nutbag has come back on our screens, into our lives, and into our hearts once more with the Crash Insane Trilogy. When the game was released, it was defined as basically the perfect textbook remake, and the sales proved that. Last year, during one of the quarterly calls at Activision, they reported that Crash sold a grand total of 10 million units across all consoles, and that was last year. Imagine after this past Christmas season. People love the Insane Trilogy, but not only the consumer, but the developers as well. Ever since the Insane Trilogy, more and more remakes have started popping up, from Spyro to Crash Team Racing, all following the same style of the Insane Trilogy. But outside of even Activision's control, other games like Medieval, Shadow of the Colossus, and Link's Awakening have been sweeping the markets. But why now? Why are all these remakes and remasters coming out so fast? We had reboots and remakes before the Insane Trilogy, but it seems to be on overdrive now. Is it because of nostalgia? Well, yes, nostalgia has a huge part to play. There is another reason why both consumer and developers have been pushing these style of remakes, and that's because Activision approached the concept of remasters and remakes completely differently from other companies. See, before the Insane Trilogy, when someone said remake or remaster, it was seen as black and white. A remaster was just an HD collection of the original games with updated textures, better frame rate, cleared up audio, and to fit 16:9 aspect ratio screens. A remake or a reboot was a retelling of the original game, starting from scratch essentially when it comes to story. The problem with the HD collections like maybe the Sly Cooper collection or the Jak and Daxter collection is that the sales are not normally that great. The Sly Cooper collection, for example, had gotten an estimate of 700,000 sales. Granted, these are estimates and not solid numbers, but even if that's a ballpark number, that's not great. It sounds like a recipe for something perfect, but for some reason, fan bases didn't really go for them. The only HD collection that I have seen do extremely well was the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, selling a ballpark of about 6 million units, which is a huge success, but these types of successful HD collection successes are very few and far in between. The problem with rebooting from scratch is kind of simple. People just saying, the original was better, don't play this one, because of added or removed features that people either really liked or really disliked. Now, of course, not every single game that's been restarted from scratch experienced this, but many fans usually have the feeling that the originals were significantly better due to nostalgia. So, to best summarize, remakes and remasters were a hit or miss to fans, consumers, and the general public. But Activision came forward and did something completely different, creating essentially a third option for remakes and remasters that so far has been shown more of a guarantee of success overall compared to the other options. See, the problem seemed to be that people either already owned the games and didn't really see the need to buy the exact same games but all on one disc again, and the other issue is that people like the originals better compared to reboots due to changes that affect the game to its core and nostalgia. So how do you get the feeling of nostalgia of the originals but for it to look visually better? And that is where the Insane Trilogy came in. See, Vicarious Visions took the original mesh and wireframe of the original games, so walls, hitboxes, item and enemy placements, and copied that over one-to-one. The mesh and wireframe is essentially the bones of the level, then used that as their core basis for the game. Adjustments were made to those bones based on the developer's discretion too, but the core is almost identical to the original. They then made high-quality assets that replace the original art assets, but still fit the same bones and wireframe. The best example of this is the Toys for Bob tech demo that they showed for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy with Spyroscope. Remember, Toys for Bob had absolutely no source code and had to remake the games from the ground up. So they used Spyroscope to find, analyze, and create full mesh levels and placements of gems and enemies. The program basically recreated the bones of the level. Then, Toys for Bob basically painted over the recreated core level with new assets. This was basically the same thing that happened for Crash, but to my knowledge, they had more access to more info than Toys for Bob did for Spyro. What this created was a feeling of familiarity with the art and design of a new game. It created this odd sense of nostalgia where you knew where everything was and what was going to happen, but didn't know what it would look like, while also inviting people who never got to play the original games to try it with brand new graphics and sound. Since the Sane Trilogy, more and more of these kinds of remakes have started to be produced, and they have all been wildly successful, completely changing the remake and remaster industry to its core. But what these remakes also do for companies is that it allows for faster production time at a cheaper rate to determine if there is life in a franchise or not. You don't need to design new levels, completely make new audio tracks, come up with new story bits or scripts or even characters. They are all already there. The original source material is a step-by-step guide on how to get the game done. That allows for publishers to see if certain IPs should have a full swing comeback or not by remaking what was considered to be the best part of the franchise without investing a great amount of time and money. The marketing point is also crazy simple because all you gotta do is base it on nostalgia and show the differences between the two. Overall, the Sane Trilogy has paved the path of a new kind of remaster or remake, whatever you want to call it, and I can't wait to see what else comes out of the style of Crash's comeback. A huge thank you to all those who support the channel through Patreon and being a sponsor on the channel. If you'd like to help it out, check out the links in the description below, where you can buy some CGE merch or become a Patreon. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming and nostalgic content. Thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.